Welcome back to Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life, the podcast. This is Life Coach Myrna Young, and you're listening to 5-Minute Fridays with Coach Myrna. Today, I want to talk on the topic, why we must fix the root and not the fruit. I like the way how that rhymes, but it's not just a rhyme. It is very fundamental to our success in life. You've all heard the phrase, an external locus of control or an internal locus of control. If you have an internal locus of control, that means that your happiness is derived for things that are happening within you, the root, right? And if you have an external locus of control, that means that your happiness is derived from what's happening outside of you, like if, whether your husband is nice to you, whether your friends like you, whether your boss does something to you. So, which means that someone is always pushing your buttons. And the way to fix that is by fixing your root, fixing your beliefs, right? And, that's where that saying comes about, because you can't fix the fruit without changing the root. You can't plant oranges and harvest mangoes. In other words, if you want to change the visible, you must first change the invisible. If you want to change the fruit, you need to plant a different seed. So we're going to look at that today because I want you to know that you have to fix the root and not the fruit. So first thing, let's dive into an internal locus of control. An internal locus of control means that control is coming from within. You have personal control over your behavior. You have an internal locus of control when you have personal agency over your own life and your actions. Because of this, these people tend to be more self-sufficient. If you have an internal locus of control, you are not going to let people push your buttons. They can push and push and push all they want, but you're not going to blow up. You're not going to give a response. And guess what? They're going to stop pushing it. It's only fun if you push it and you get a response. If you don't get a response, then they're going to stop pushing it. So, why do people try to push your buttons? Sometimes it's deliberate and sometimes it's unconscious. But our buttons are our soft underbelly. There are the things that, that have hurt us in the past. And we have not healed it yet. And that is why you have to fix the root, because the problem is still there, right? We've all had our buttons pushed to the point where we feel we can't take it anymore, right? And that button pusher is exposing an unresolved hurt or trauma. But the truth of the matter is that the buttons belong to us, and we're the ones that need to deal with what comes up. We're the ones that have to take responsibility for our own feelings and reactions and the tender buttons that we have. And we come back to our saying, that's why we need to fix the root and not the fruit. That's why we need to understand why we blow up, right? When you fix the root, you're at peace with yourself. And you find that peace that defies all understanding. Someone is pushing away at your buttons, and it's just noise to you because it's not getting any kind of reaction. And that's because you've dealt with it. They could be telling truth or they could not be, but you've dealt with it, right? Give you an example. For the longest time, my button was my age, right? And my husband knew this. So whenever he said something about how old I was, right, then I would feel myself burn, right? But you know there's nothing you can do with your age, right? So what's the point of getting upset about it? You know, you change the way you look at a thing, and the thing that you look at will change. Take what's going on in the sports world right now. This guy called LeBron James old. And I was right there alongside because, hey, LeBron James is doing very well. He is still performing at a high level, but he knows he's old. And maybe if he has insecurity about it or not, maybe he was ruffled by the guy calling him old. But the whole sports world was on this guy. You know what I mean? He become like, the laughing stock because the man that he's calling old is performing better than him. But why did he do it? Why did he go up to LeBron and say, you old? Because he thinks that he's pushing his button. He thinks that he's insecure about his age, right? So I am sure that LeBron James wasn't ruffled by it because he looks at his age and think, hey, I'm still hot stuff. Hey, I've won 4 championships. Hey, I'm on my way getting to my 5th championship. And this guy that's calling me old doesn't have any of these things, right? So it's the same thing. A lot of us hate getting old. I remember when my daughter didn't want to be 25, she said she was going to throw up. Now she probably don't want to be 35. And I remember when I got to 40 and 50 and 60. But as I get older, I recognize that it's a blessing that very few people, or I shouldn't say very few, a lot of people don't get here. So again, the root, you can't change it. You don't change, you change the root of your thoughts, the root of your belief, and then the fruit will change because then nobody can push my button now about my age, right? I have accepted it and I have dealt with it, and there's actually nothing I can do about it anyway. So why would I bother to be upset if someone was to call me old? So when you fix your root and you don't have to worry about your fruit, I mean that when someone is nasty to you, called you names, or pushes your button, you can just respond by saying, hey, that's me, or hey, or that's not me, right? Don't let anybody put anything on you and let it stick to you if you do not believe it and you do not accept it. If your root is saying, hey, that is not me, right? You don't let anybody put something on you that it's not you. My grandmother used to say, sticks and bones can break my bones, but words could never hurt me. She was trying to say that anybody can say anything they want and you shouldn't let it stick to you, right? So let's look at a couple of characteristics of having the personality of an internal locus of control, right? 1, you're hardworking. 2, you're confident. 3, you're physically healthy, right? 4, you're responsible. 5, you're positive. 6, you're independent. 7, you're studious. And 8, you have high self-esteem, which is a big one, right? If you are going to fix your root, right, and your fruit is going to be a different kind of behavior, you have to have high self-esteem. Like I said earlier, you don't want anybody to put labels on you and knock down your self-worth and you blowing up because somebody just insulted you. Just let it roll off your back like water off of a duck's back. On the flip side, if you have an external locus of control, then the first one is that you are insecure. You have a low self-esteem. And do you know the people that have a low self-esteem are the ones that are most prickly? Everything hurts their feelings. They're always responding, right? They're dependent on other people for their happiness and their satisfaction, right? They have hopeless emotions, but this is never going to happen for me. It's only going to happen for you. They're passive, which means they don't do anything to make a difference in their lives. They just sit around and be passive. They're indecisive, can't make a decision. They're either on the fence or they're off the fence, right? So these are some of the ways that you're having an internal locus of control, external locus of control, and that is what we were talking about when we were saying that you got to fix the root and not the fruit, right? That you've got to fix those internal feelings and not let the external world decide how you are feeling. You should be going in every day being in total control of your feelings, total control of your emotions, total control of your behaviors, and you are going to be happier, because I'm telling you, once somebody exposes your underbelly, you're a goner, because they're going to keep pushing it. They're going to keep pushing it because they love your reaction. They love when you blow up. They love when you tell them that you're hurt, which is why bullies are so prevalent. Because once they find that you, they can hurt you with something, they're always going to be pushing that button. So I know that fix the root and not the fruit is a nice catchphrase, but I also wanted to give you some depth on why it is not just a phrase, but it's something that you should aspire to be. So thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of 5 Minute Fridays with Coach Myrna. Hope to see you back here next week, same time, for another episode of 5 Minute Fridays with Coach Myrna. Until then, namaste.